Hello, good morning. I'm here today to talk to you about the lab that we're going to be completing for today's science class. This lab is sometimes referred to as the osmosis lab, but we're basically, in essence, going to be taking different objects and soaking them into different liquids to see what's going to happen. So it's kind of like a prediction lab. This lab will take 2 to 3 days to complete. So if you're watching this video, you're probably watching because you were absent from class. But if you're watching this video because you were in class for just a review, that's also okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you an overview. The overview is that our goal for this lab is to see how certain objects, such as a naked egg, which I'll talk to you about what that means in just a minute, a gummy bear, and a raisin, all change over time when soaked into different solutions. We have discussed at length the importance of the cell membrane being selectively permeable, which basically means some molecules, whatever they might be, water or whatever, can move in and out of the membrane, this barrier, pretty freely. Okay, so we're going to see what's going to happen after we do that over a course of 24 hours. It talks about osmosis, which is the diffusion of water, and diffusion by concept is understanding that molecules always like to move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. The scientific concepts that you're going to see is pretty cool. It's going to be science right before your own eyes. Each of these objects are going to have a letter, A through E. And like I said, if you missed or were absent from class, we're using this video as a review. We are going to be modeling how to do this little teacher demo, okay, throughout the next couple minutes. So the first thing that you did on your lab sheet is that you had to make predictions. You're going to make predictions based on what you know about these objects, being the naked egg, the gummy bear, and raisin. And what do you think is going to happen in terms of observations? Do you think that there's going to be an increase or decrease in mass? Do you think that the objects are going to be recognizable, which basically means, are you going to be able to tell that it's an egg, or are you going to be able to tell that it's a gummy bear or a raisin? So that's your observations that you're going to complete on the first part of your lab. So that's your data table, basically your data table number 1, making your predictions and your hypotheses for this lab. If you continue along, you'll see the materials, all the materials that we need for this lab. So we need a scale, we need cups with those solutions. We're actually going to be soaking, as your teacher, we are going to be soaking these eggs for a couple days in vinegar. And what actually happens is the outside layer of the shell that you know as cracking the egg is made up of calcium carbonate. And what actually happens if you soak them for a day or two in vinegar is it kind of starts wearing away at that protective shell, which is a good thing because we really care about the membrane underneath of the egg. And that's kind of how this lab experiment is going to work. If you don't remove the shell or you don't soak it in vinegar, nothing's going to happen to these eggs. So something will happen in 24 hours. It's just up to you to make a guess as to what will. These eggs are also very, very fragile, so you have to kind of be really careful with it. We're calling them naked eggs because there's no outside shell to them, as you would be familiar with. For the most part, like I said, if you missed day 1, it was a lot of prep work. We were able to rinse off the eggs, and I'm actually going to show you one right now. This is an egg that has been soaking in vinegar for about 2 days now, so if you can see on the camera. And the outside film of, like I said, that shell, it kind of needs to be worn away or broken down. So we actually took these eggs and ran them under cold water and kind of by rubbing, just like you can see here on the camera, I kind of wear away at that shell so that eventually the eggs are going to look like this. So you can physically tell that it's very soft and flimsy. It kind of feels weird because you're not used to seeing an egg feel and look like this. If you hold it up to the light, you can kind of see the yolk in there as well, which is pretty cool. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to record the mass of these individual eggs. So we essentially have 3 eggs. I have a gummy bear and I have a raisin. And like I said, if you were absent from class today, there's different stations set up for different students to do different things. But we basically had each individual jobs on how to kind of tackle or set up this lab. So what I'm going to do with you is I'm going to, again, model it. I showed you how the egg or the shell has to come off, and then you're going to have your 3 eggs. You're going to have a gummy bear, and then lastly, a raisin. And most students are familiar with what a raisin and a gummy bear actually looks like. It's just more the cool feature of the naked egg that many students like to see. So if you follow the procedure, which again is listed right on your lab sheet, we labeled the cups. We filled each of those cups with the correct solutions, and I know you can kind of see right here, object A is going to be the egg in distilled water. Object B is going to be another naked egg in corn syrup. Object C is going to be dark soda or cola. That's your object C. Object D is your gummy bear, and object E is your raisin. And again, all those cups I kind of filled them for this demo video. So what we're going to do is that we're going to record the mass of each of these objects. Now, obviously, all these eggs are going to be different. In every class period, they're going to be different. I'm asking that you kind of check Google Classroom and kind of see the sample data that I have posted for your unique class. So again, these values are going to be a little bit different from the ones from class, but again, this video is there to kind of show you what we did in this lab. So we're going to tear the scales, and then we're going to carefully place the egg on the scale. In this one, this reads 78 grams, so I would record 78 grams. And then I'm going to place the object in the water. Okay. Next, our second egg, again, is going to go on the scale. Again, we're going to turn the scale on, record the mass. This one is 91 grams. Okay, and you're going to place that in corn syrup carefully. Okay, it should be completely submerged, which means to go under. Okay. The next one is object again is another naked egg that has already been prepped by myself. We're going to record the mass. And this is 82. Place that in object C, or in the cola, I said with the cup. Next one is going to be the gummy bear. You're just using one gummy bear for this demo. And the mass is 2 grams. Okay, so you're going to place that in the water. And then our last object is going to be a raisin. And this is going to be very minimal, but we'll still record the mass. Okay, so in this case, it's 1 gram. Okay, and you're going to place that in the water. So with that being said, this is kind of the setup of day one. We kind of got all the solutions ready. We placed all of the objects, the 3 naked eggs and the gummy bear and raisin into their respective cups. What we're going to do, you're going to fast forward for day 2. We're going to reveal the results of what we received for these eggs and objects, and we're going to compare them to day 1. Again, the big difference, like I said, you're just like, oh, well, Miss Mack or your teacher, we have 3 separate eggs. Why are they different masses? Because all eggs are different, right? But we have to, what we care about is not the original weight or the original mass or the secondary mass on day 2. What we care about is the difference. We want to know, is there going to be an increase in size, or will there be a decrease in size, or I should say more specifically mass. So hopefully this kind of gave you a little model as to what day 1 was like in science class, doing day 1 of our gummy bear, raisin, and naked egg lab. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your teachers. We would love to help. Thank you so much for watching.